Let us get one thing straight right out of the gate, ladies. The entire town of Port Charles is currently walking around with their heads hanging low, weeping into their coffee cups, completely convinced that Jason Morgan is either gone forever or locked away in some dark, miserable holding cell because he took the fall for Rocco Falconeri shooting Ross Cullum. We all saw the reports. We all saw the supposed evidence that Jason was in custody, covering up for a terrified teenage boy. But guess what? It is all a lie. A massive, manipulative lie orchestrated by the Master of Shadows himself. Jason is not sitting behind bars, and he certainly has not abandoned his family. He is creeping around in the pitch black shadows of Port Charles, operating in complete and total secrecy. He has intentionally faked his status, choosing to become a ghost once again. And why? Because the writers refuse to let this man have a single moment of peace? The reason Jason is hiding in the dark, playing the invisible savior yet again, is because of the absolute monster that is currently breathing down the necks of everyone he loves. I am talking about Jen Sidwell. This maniac has been running loose, leaving a trail of destruction, and now, through a highly classified underground source, Jason has discovered the ultimate nightmare scenario. Sidwell is not working alone. He has joined forces with Ross Cullum. Yes, the incredibly dirty, double-crossing WSB agent who is currently trying to escape Spoon Island with stolen cold fusion information. These two absolute psychopaths have formed an unholy alliance, and their grand master plan is aimed directly at the heart of Sonny Corinthos and his entire family. It is a complete mess, and I am furious that our beloved characters are being put through this meat grinder once more. When Jason learned about this alliance, he realized the terrifying scope of the danger. This is not just about Sonny dodging a few bullets. This is about the most vulnerable people in Jason's world being placed directly in the crosshairs. Do you understand who is on Sidwell and Cullum's hit list? Britt Westbourne. The woman is currently deteriorating from Huntington's disease, hiding out in a miserable cabin in Tortola, urging Rocco to leave her behind because she is so sick. And speaking of Rocco, that poor boy is already traumatized from pulling the trigger on Cullum. He is completely defenseless. And then there is Danny Morgan, Jason's own flesh and blood. Danny is running around the Quartermain boathouse, teaming up with Charlotte Cassadine to sabotage Cullum's grand plan. These children are playing a deadly game of chess with international terrorists, and if Cullum cannot finish the job himself, you better believe Sidwell will be the one sent to execute these innocent targets. This is where I start losing my mind over the sheer tragedy of Jason's character arc. When faced with the reality that Britt, Rocco, and Danny could be slaughtered by Sidwell, Jason makes the most agonizing, heartbreaking decision of his life. Instead of walking through the front door of the Corinthos mansion, instead of wrapping his arms around Carly and telling Sonny that he is back to fight by his side, Jason chooses the darkness. He chooses to remain completely invisible. He knows, with absolute certainty, that if Sidwell catches even a tiny whisper that the great Jason Morgan is alive, free, and on the hunt, that coward will instantly vanish into thin air. Sidwell would change his entire operation, alter his targets, and strike from an angle they could never predict. So, Jason sacrifices his own identity. He sacrifices his chance to be a father to Danny. He accepts the burden of being a ghost, simply to keep the element of surprise. Can we please talk about the absolute mind-boggling incompetence of the Port Charles Police Department and the WSB right now? I am looking at you, Anna Devane. I am looking at you, Dante Falconeri. While Jason is out there sacrificing his soul to track down a lethal international terrorist, what are the authorities doing? They are running around in circles. Anna is playing knitting games in a French medical facility, secretly plotting an escape while her city burns. Dante and Lulu are jetting off to the British Virgin Islands, completely unaware that they might accidentally lead Ross Cullum right to Britt and Rocco's doorstep. The official task forces are utterly useless. They are pouring all their resources into hunting down Cullum, completely blind to the fact that Sidwell is the true mastermind orchestrating the attacks on the Corinthos family. If it were not for Jason operating outside the law, Sonny and everyone else would already be in body bags. And then, just when I thought my blood pressure could not get any higher, the writers drop the most explosive bombshell of the year. Out of nowhere, the police receive a tip and stumble upon a gruesome scene in a highly remote, godforsaken location. And who do they find? Jen Sidwell, dead, lifeless, completely eliminated from the board. I literally screamed at my television when the news broke. The authorities are standing around, scratching their heads, staring at a corpse, having absolutely no idea what just happened. There are no witnesses. There is no murder weapon left behind. There is just the cold, hard reality that the man who is about to wage war on Port Charles has been permanently silenced. The sheer chaos this discovery causes is off the charts. Of course, the PCPD investigators immediately start spinning their wild theories. They assume that Sidwell must have been betrayed by his own people. They speculate that it was a mob hit or that the criminal underworld finally caught up with him. Some even start whispering that Ross Cullum might have pulled the trigger himself to silence Sidwell and tie up loose ends before making his grand escape with the cold fusion data. The police are completely clueless, grasping at straws, trying to make sense of a perfectly executed assassination. But we know the truth, do we not, ladies? We know exactly who has the skills, the motive, and the ruthless precision to take down a monster like Jen Sidwell without leaving a single fingerprint behind. And wouldn't you know it, the timing is absolutely impeccable. Only after the coroner zips up Jen Sidwell in a body bag, only after the death is officially confirmed by the authorities, does the ghost finally step out of the shadows. Jason Morgan suddenly, miraculously reappears. He walks right back into the lives of Sonny Corinthos, Carly Spencer, and his family, acting as if he just woke up from a long nap. The sheer audacity of this man. The emotional whiplash is enough to send me to the hospital. Imagine being Carly in that moment. She has been desperately trying to recruit Lucas Jones to break into Windermere to save Jocelyn. Her nerves are completely shot, and suddenly, Jason is just standing there. The relief, the anger, the absolute confusion. It is a masterpiece of emotional manipulation by the writers, and I am furious that they keep putting us through this. The moment Jason reveals himself, the questions immediately start flying. Everyone in Sonny's inner circle is staring at him, wondering the exact same thing. Did Jason know what happened to Sidwell? Was he the one who pulled the trigger? But here is the absolute genius of Jason's strategy, and why I have to give the man credit even when I am screaming at him. Because he waited until Sidwell was officially declared dead before making his public return. The police have absolutely zero grounds to suspect him. How can they accuse a man who is officially documented as being missing or locked away in a secret custody facility? Jason has the ultimate ironclad alibi. He was a ghost when the murder happened. And ghosts do not leave evidence. The PCPD cannot touch him, and Dante knows it. But the lingering mystery is driving me absolutely insane. Did Jason actually look Sidwell in the eye and pull the trigger, ending the threat once and for all? Or did he simply track Sidwell down, only to find that Ross Cullum had already beaten him to the punch? What if Cullum realized that Sidwell was a liability and decided to eliminate his own partner to protect the Cold Fusion project? Or, heaven forbid, what if there is another, even darker, secret organization operating in Port Charles that took Sidwell out before Jason could? The writers are dangling this mystery right in front of our faces, refusing to give us a straight answer. We are left to analyze every single micro expression on Jason's face when Sonny asks him where he has been. It is agonizing. If the truth ever fully comes to light, I know exactly what is going to happen, and it breaks my heart into a million pieces. We are going to witness a deeply emotional, gut-wrenching scene where Jason finally breaks down and confesses everything to Sonny and Carly. He will look them in the eyes and admit that he willingly chose to become a phantom. He will explain that he sacrificed his freedom, his name, and his precious time with Danny, all to protect the people who mean the most to him. Sonny, Britt, Rocco, Danny, they are his entire world. For Jason Morgan, carrying the heavy burden of being a suspected killer or enduring the pain of being separated from his loved ones is 1,000 times better than watching them become the next victims of Jen Sidwell's wrath. It is the ultimate sacrifice, and it is why we will never stop loving this incredibly frustrating, beautifully broken character. But let me tell you something, the nightmare is far from over. Sidwell might be rotting in the county morgue, but Ross Cullum is still out there. That dirty, manipulative double agent is still breathing, and he still has the cold fusion information. Jason's decision to eliminate the immediate threat of Sidwell has only set the stage for the ultimate explosive showdown. The network of this secret organization is slowly starting to crumble, but Cullum is a desperate man, and a desperate man is a dangerous man. Jason has effectively declared war on the remaining pieces of this operation. He has cut off the head of the snake, but the body is still thrashing. I am exhausted, ladies. My heart cannot take much more of this. We are gearing up for a final confrontation between Jason Morgan and Ross Cullum, and you just know the writers are going to drag this out and torture us every step of the way. Will Jason be able to protect Jocelyn at Windermere? Will he be able to reach Britt in Tortola before her illness takes her completely? Will Danny finally get to hug his father without looking over his shoulder for a sniper? I demand answers, and I demand that they give Jason Morgan the respect he deserves. Until then, I will be sitting right here, yelling at my screen, and praying that our hero makes it out of this absolute disaster alive. Am I the only one losing my mind over this? Let me know, because I am officially out of control.